Sach, Fernando back again from Melbourne One TV with our special segment, Talk with Melbourne One. And today we're continuing our Melbourne City Council election candidate segment number 2. And today we have another 6 candidates who are from an Indian background to answer some of our questions that came from our audience. So let me start by introducing our candidates who are joining today. So first I have Praveen Kumar contesting for Moreland City Council. And then I have Deepti Alurkar for Melton City Council. And then I have Ajay Pasupulate for Melton City Council. And also I have Preet Singh for Wyndham City Council. And I have Surender for City of Kingston. And finally, I have Rohit Singh again for Wyndham City Council. So how are you guys? Hope you're having a wonderful day.
All good.
Having a good time?
All fantastic.
Lovely, lovely to hear. So we're quite glad to have you all here today. We have sent out the invitation to many of the politicians who are contesting in this year's upcoming council elections. However, you are the lucky candidates who did accept, and we greatly thank you for that, for giving your precious time. So thank you again. And so what I'll do is I'll give you a bit of a background or give you a bit of a recap of what we're trying to achieve today. So the target is to ask you 3 questions. We've segmented out as 3 rounds. So in each round, each one of you will get the same question. So we'll have 3 rounds of that. So basically what we're trying to achieve is we want the audience to get a better view of what you're trying to do to the community, and to maybe even get a perspective view on how differently you're approaching that. So I hope you can answer truthfully to your values and what you believe in. So I would like to start with Praveen first. So the first question, the round 1 question that I'd like to ask you is, why did you decide to contest in this year's council election? Is there any particular reason? Has there always been an ambition of yours to get into politics?
Yeah, so thank you for this opportunity to discuss my interest. I've been into politics way back from India. I've been involved in student politics. After I migrated here, it's always been head down, butt up, work my way through. And fortunately, I've been quite successful in my career, but I've always been, it's been inculcated in me to ensure that you should always give back to the community that's given me so much. So fortunately, I've been working as an advisor for the Federal Member of Parliament for the last 4 years. And I've always seen how being in a democracy, being in a position of power, you can always make a difference in people's life, you know, if you have. So that's been one of the core reasons of why I've been involved in politics, and that's why I'm contesting. And especially local government being the closest form of government to the local community. So you can definitely start seeing a real impact very quickly. And if the power is in vested interests of people who don't have the community's interests in place, it can have adverse effects. And we could see that in Moreland City Council in the past 4 years, where some ideological decisions have made without thinking through the consequences of it, like they're changing rubbish removals from weekly to fortnightly, and things like 2-hour parking restrictions. These are all ideologically driven councillors driving party politics in local council rather than really thinking about the community. So hence why I put my hand up. In a democracy, if the right people don't put their hand up, that's where it ends up with wrong people, and that's the downfall of it. So that's one of my motivations to run in the council elections this time.
Well, thank you very much, Praveen. So now I'd like to turn my attention to Deepti. What about you? Why did you decide to become a contestant in this year's council election?
Firstly, thank you so much for getting us on this platform. It means a lot because at the end of the day, with the COVID restrictions, it's been hard campaigning. So a platform like this where we can reach to a wider audience is always appreciated. So thank you. Secondly, I did not have any intention of joining politics, unlike just what Praveen said. I had no intention. I have I've been driven completely by my passion for community work. And when we moved to Australia, never did I even think, for a second, it never flinched in my mind that I would become, or I would put my hand up for council elections. It's been my passion to serve the community, and I've been doing this for past many years now, almost 8. And while I've been doing this, I think it's kind of transitioned to where I am today, and which is, being a voice for the community. Now, talking about the council that I'm representing, it's Melton City Council. I am contesting from What's What. And the council, if I look at it currently, it's a growth corridor for multicultural background people. And I would say there are like 7 families moving each day, into this council. And there are more than, I would say, the most spoken languages, multicultural languages. So it's a multicultural hub, and we need diverse representation. And like I said, I've been working at the grassroots level for many years now. I've been talking to people, connecting with many multicultural and other local communities. So this is the time, I think, for me to be the connector between the community and the council where the decisions are made. So most of the times, the local residents have no idea where they can voice their opinions, suggestions, or recommendations. And I think that's where I am going to be the representative, where I am going to give them the accessibility to have their voice heard at the decision-making chamber. So yeah, that's that. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Deepti. Now I'd like to turn to Ajay. What about you, Ajay? Is there any particular reason why you decided to go for this election?
Yes, I'm Ajay Pasupulate. I'm standing from Cambridge Ward, Melton City Council. See, the stand for the council elections is decided just like 4 weeks ago. And then the reason being is I'm since like my childhood, I'm into like most like a people's man, So from my school also I was like involved in the school captain, a most lovable person, like as people say. And I was involved with my family. Basically, my family background is my parents are into social workers, what we call in India. So it's a volunteering base. So since I was involved there, I was a youth leader back home. And then came for an organization, and then came to Australia. I was doing volunteering since then. And I was involved with the various, other organizations here, non-profit organizations. And also last 5 years onwards, I was involved with the local council as an advisory board member for 2 years. I did a term from Melton City Council area. So I've learned a lot about the local government, how it operates. And I was like a bridge between the community and the local government. So taking the council issues to taking council civic facilities to the people, and people issues to the council. And so I learned a lot in this, and also undergone a leadership program with the council, how the councillor works and all as a community leader. So this is all my experience, my passion towards people. Apart from that, I have started a non-profit organization called Australian Multicultural Association, and I'm a founder, member, and president of that. I've done a lot of events and programs and charity programs on that. So this has, driven me to like take a step with all the encouragement from the local leaders and the local government to stand for elections. So I did a bit of work whether I'm fit for this. So I thought I'm fit the bill. So I thought running for the elections.
Oh, lovely. Thank you for that, Ajay. Now I'd like to turn to Preet Singh. What about you? Why did you decide, or why do you think serving in the council is so important to you?
Look, it wasn't an overnight decision or anything as such. I've been with the Liberal Party for the past 8 years. So that's given me a good understanding of all levels of the government, and good governance start right from the grassroots, like which is the local government. People who have been involved would have watched the meetings or the proceedings of the Wyndham City Council. They would have seen how dysfunctional the council chamber is. Becomes really important to have people from the diverse background, but also it becomes really important to get together and make good decisions for the community's benefit. So I believe, look, I can bring in those skills. I'm a master's in accounting, and I've been in the leadership role for over 10 years. As I said, look, I've got good experience, good knowledge of how the system works. and I can really contribute and lead from the front. So you really need people with the intent and with the passion and with the drive, and someone who can inject the sense of urgency. So Wyndham's one of the fastest growing councils and municipalities across in the whole of Australia. There is a lot of opportunity which is unexplored. And obviously with these COVID pandemics hit the businesses really hard. There's a lot of jobs being lost. Wyndham's got one of the highest rate of job seeker payments in here. So the challenges are immense in front of us. So you really need people who can really work together for a common agenda, which would be the community's welfare and get Wyndham back out of this situation we are in at the moment.
All right, thank you very much, Preet. Now I'd like to ask you, Suren, what about you? Why is contesting for this year's council election so important to you?
Hi, thanks, Sach. Thank you for inviting on such a platform. Well, number of reasons, basically. Just like I think all of us here tonight, we all are migrants. And Australia is the most successful multicultural society I have seen in the whole world. I feel very privileged and overwhelmed at times, basically, being part of this community. Since I migrated from India for last 14 years, I've always lived around this side of town, which is city of Kingston. I feel very connected to the community, to the people around here, and the friends, and basically the area. Now, this was a recent decision, basically, to stand for the council. So I only sort of thought of doing it around August this year. Mm-hmm. In the middle of the pandemic, it didn't even sound like so exciting because obviously, as Deepti mentioned, we couldn't do proper campaigning and we can only do a lot of online campaigning only. Mm-hmm. Now, we are restricted as such. However, I feel so connected to the community that I feel like it's a payback time. So I like to lend my voice to the community I care for, the community I stand for, and the community I wish to achieve so much for. Mm-hmm. Now, you could find a lot about me on my Facebook page, which is Surender at Karkarook Ward. I have a lot of videos and a lot of discussions and some brochures, basically, to help you understand more about myself.
Thank you very much, Suren. So finally, to you, Rohit, what about you? What made you contest in this year's council elections?
Hi, this is Rohit Singh. Thank you very much for having me on this platform.
Right. Thank you very much, Rohit. So guys, that concludes our round one. So now I'll lay out the question for round two, the second question. So this one's a bit of a hypothetical question that sort of we came up with. The question is based on how well or how would you behave or how would you perform in a situation where you would, hypothetically speaking, if you would get $10 million grant to spend in your council, whatever the way you want, it's totally up to you. But I'd like to know what you would do and why would you do it towards the community. So I'd like to start with Praveen. What are your thoughts on
that? Okay. Well, 10 million is a good amount of money, but still it doesn't suffice the needs of anything, because one of the greatest challenges that we face currently, regardless of the level of government, whether it's local government, state, or federal, the local economic recovery is the biggest challenge for everyone, because tens of thousands of jobs have been lost. A lot of small businesses are struggling. So one of my priorities would be local economic recovery that assists small businesses through new grants, local job programs, and support to adopt COVID safe measures. You know, in the sense of COVID safe measures is, you know, opening up footpaths, closing out laneways. You know, thankfully, recently there's been some budget allocated for hospitality industry and other things by the state government. On top of that, if the councils help this hospitality industry, where majority of our workforce comes from, apart from retail. And the other aspects that I would use the funding for would be to advocate for services that many of our families rely on, because now more than ever, we need more funding for our local childcare, maternal health services, and quality aged care. As it's not a doubt that, you know, more people are aging. There's a huge need for the services provided by the council. On top of this, we need also, you know, safety and security, especially in areas where there is a lot of antisocial activities happening. You know, improved lighting and CCTV where required and asked by the community. We need to put in some of those things, and we need to also, one of the things which is close to our community where there is a lot of increase in domestic violence cases, especially with the lockdown. People are living together. So we need to put additional funding into the domestic violence sort of educational programs, and also to let people know that there is support as well. And also to tell you the main reason why I put at the top of the priority about local economic recovery is, if anyone the most important security for anyone is to have a financial security. If people have jobs, they have that security that, you know, they can put the food on table, and that will curb a lot of antisocial activities. If people and especially youth, they don't have job or employment and things, that's where they fall into bad paths, I believe. And again, you know, there's been a great initiative by the state government where they put additional funding into, and even in the federal budget, they allocated quite of money into helping apprentices get into work. So yeah, you know, this $10 million, you know, top priority is going into the local economic recovery with the businesses. Second, into the health, you know, other services that the council provides, and then into safety and security.
Right. Thank you very much, Praveen. Now, what about you, Deepti? You having similar thoughts, or what do you think you would do with $10 million if you do happen to get it, hypothetically speaking?
Yeah, especially in this scenario, that would be an amazing hypothetical situation to be in. But having said that, you know, obviously thinking on a brighter side, and, you know, assuming that this is a hypothetical situation where I do get 10 million for our local people. And well, as per the budget that has been announced by Melton Council, you know, there are a lot of infrastructure things that have been taken care of in terms of, but not many plans or strategies have been considered post-COVID, because nobody was expecting that we will be in COVID, and what's the scenario going to be post-COVID. So definitely my first top agenda would be to invest in the post-COVID economic recovery plans. And that's majorly because there have been families who have got impacted, that from child to a senior, everyone's got impacted. Family, the lives and the livelihoods have got impacted. So my agenda would definitely be to invest in programs to have plans for post COVID economic recovery plans. Now also there are a couple of other things that I have included in my policies. There is mental health programs that I'm actually advocating a lot for, because COVID again has impacted due to the isolation and due to the scenario that we've been in last couple of months. Mental health has got impacted again, and we cannot say it's just one particular type of people, or it's impacted everyone. Even a preppy to a senior has got impacted, and I would like to invest money into mental health programs and facilities so that people can reach out and use these services, so that they are in a more stable and more better state of mind, if I may say so. Third, I would also like to invest funding into skill development programs. That's again one of my policies which I'm really keen on working. People have lost jobs, and there have been industries and small businesses which have shut down, unfortunately. And when people have lost jobs from these kind of industries, it's about giving them cross skill development programs, teaching them different skills so that they can continue and move on with their life, and get other opportunities to maintain and earn livelihood, if I may say so. That's that. And of course, a lot of people in our council have been talking about there's been a freeze on rates, but there has been an increase in terms of because of the house valuations and stuff like that. And again, the current council has mentioned that they would give a $200 discount for people who are struggling. But I think everyone's got impacted. So if given an opportunity, I would really like to get every resident of Melton City Council some benefit in terms of rates. Again, this is considering that this is, this amount is besides what has been allocated, because if I have to consider that we are already running an underlying deficit of 8 million. So considering this is an hypothetical situation, these are the places where I would like to get funds to be invested. I'm also advocating for an orange door facility, which is for family violence victims. It's kind of an emergency accommodation for family violence victims to actually get shelter in. So that's another facility I would like to get some funding, but I still feel the money is still less to the amount of work that I want to do. But yes, I would really like to highlight these ones. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deepti. Now I'd like to ask you, Ajay, what about you? Have you got similar thoughts? You have something totally different the viewers would like to listen to? Please tell us.
Yes, say would be a different, and sometimes it looks silly to other people, but it's in my mind since my childhood, because I've seen the poverty, the issues of the people understand. I was always thinking like, if I get a lot of money, how I'm going to distribute to the people. It's globally, people are the same anywhere. But to say that, like if I were given $10 million to spend on, I think it's a very small money for the big issues what we have in several areas, like anything, education, transport, upgradation, and programs. But what is now government has, local council, Melton Council has released $130 million. Still is not enough. So 10 million is nothing. So for me, I want to make Melton as a self-sustained city. So what does it mean is, for me, as a point of view, like in 10 million, I would take the 5 million to spend on immediate recovery plans or upgradations, what need to be done. Other 5 million, I would rather invest in a smart projects where we can generate money like in a regular basis. So from that investment, we create opportunity, like job opportunities. At the same time, the profits what we get will be utilized in future projects, and we can make it as a multi-million business investments. So through that profits, we'll be just spending on the money partially from the profits to the community back again for infrastructure development or wherever. So we don't need to again spend the money for the $10 million in one go and then looking forward for next revenue, where we getting from. So it should be like a self-sustained city. and make the smarter way to invest money, and then from the profits make use back to the community again for infrastructure development. That's me.
Thank you very much, Ajay. What about you, Preet? Have you got any special thoughts, or would you just take a conventional approach, or would it be a totally different out-of-the-box approach?
Look, obviously, any money that's spent, like, that's going to be done in consultation with the other councillors. But if I had my way, the biggest challenge in front of us, or everyone, or across the world, is the COVID recovery, how it's going to look like. So Wyndham City Council's already got a $5 million fund. So, like, I will invest, divert most of the funds to that fund to help the businesses and the residents and the ratepayers out. I will actually keep aside a couple of $1 million for advocacy purposes. Advocacy to get more funding on programs such as mental health, domestic violence, and plus, most importantly, the infrastructure, which has been missing. So the government's been quite happy to announce 2 new bus routes, whereas the people of Wyndham need 2 new train stations. So we'll, like, really go hard on that, and a couple of $1 million will be spent on that rigorous advocacy. That's where the $10 million is going to go.
Okay, thank you very much. What about you, Suren?
Hi, Fernando. Since I like to rephrase, since it's a hypothetical question, and I come from an accounting and financial management background, I did a master's degree at La Trobe University. So I do believe in diversification of your portfolio. So I guess 10 million can't achieve a lots of things, but it can achieve a great amount of facilities in a small ward like ourselves, basically. So I have to give a little bit of background about our council, because $10 million in my ward would be almost sufficient to do what I wish to achieve. It's a single member ward now, so there are smaller 11 wards across the city of Kingston, and Karkarook ward, where I'm standing, is one of them. So number of things we could achieve out of the $10 million is part of my manifesto as well, to help support local sporting clubs, help local charities, put more CCTVs and public lighting in the public spaces, promote local arts, but not the graffiti, and also invest some of the money in health and family facilities, which covers obviously the victims of domestic violence, as the other participants mentioned, and also it's part of our aging population, caring for them, and then the childcare facilities and the family daycare facilities, stuff like that. I guess $10 million would be almost sufficient to what I wish to achieve. Over to you, Sach.
Okay, thank you very much, Suren. So finally to you, Rohit, what about you? You have any special, totally different views or similar views, or, what would you do and why would you do it with it?
I don't want $10 million. I just want $1 million.
Okay.
And $1 million will be totally invested in creating a Silicon Valley, where I will create, it's all in my brain. Like, I went to Harvard Business School in Boston. There is lots of startups there. It's a startup city. And Melbourne is I don't need 10 million, I just need 1 million. And I can show that to the whole councillors all over the Melbourne, that this is going to be the melting, it's a melting pot of multicultural people, right? We have the best brains from all over the world. Why we don't have those IT jobs, the jobs for the tradies, for the hospitality and all that? I'm from a background where, we do things in 1/4 of the cost. So we can do this in just $1 million. We'll have a Silicon Valley, and we'll have lots of IT jobs in here, and hospitality and trading jobs. Now, the people who are traveling to city, like especially people from multicultural background, from Indian background, mostly they are working in IT. They all have to travel to city. So it will do 2 things. It will stop traffic on the highway. It will stop people traveling anywhere else. They all will stay in Wyndham. So it will solve the traffic problem and the infrastructure problem as well. So this is the best way to do that, because this is the age where like all the companies like Uber Eats, Menulog, and all those companies, they're all from America. So they come from outside Australia, and they come into the market, and they take all the money out of here, right? So I want to have all the youngsters to innovate. Innovation, innovation, and innovation. That should be the sole goal and the mantra. We call it mantra in the Indian background. That should be the mantra: innovation and innovation, right? So if we innovate, jobs will be created, and our money will not go out of Australia. We'll be self-sufficient, and we'll build the economy, and we'll come out of COVID-19. Right now, my company, Idea to Network, is already doing that. Doesn't matter I win or lose. I pledge to Wyndham Council that I'm going to make Wyndham Council a Silicon Valley. Doesn't matter if I'm in the power or not. This is just my hobby to come into the politics and contest for the election. I have the potential, I have the skill, I have the education, I have the experience, and I will make Wyndham a Silicon Valley no matter what.
Okay, thank you very much, Rohit. So that concludes our round 2. So this is the final round, which is round 3. So I'll start with Praveen. The first question goes to you. So the question is, why do you think someone should vote for you compared to someone else? Why do you think you're the best choice, and why? What are your qualifications?
Apart from my professional endeavors, which include quite senior roles, I'll go one step back. Actually, I've graduated with a degree in IT and worked as a business analyst and quite senior roles in quite a number of multinationals before I started my own small business a decade ago. But apart from that, I've been very, very fortunate to be working with many community and sporting groups within my local community, also in the multicultural space. It's been 10 years. I've been very, very active in politics, and I'm quite honored to be representing the Australian Labor Party. I'm a Labor Party endorsed candidate running for the Moreland City Council election. So one of the reasons why I think people should vote for me, or I can deserve a vote, because I understand the needs of the local people. In my communication during my period working on the board of the Glenroy Neighbourhood Learning Centre, or through Hope Centre Glenroy or Pasupulate United Cricket Club, I had the opportunity to meet and work with various community leaders, as well as people who are in the council. What I've seen is, the council hasn't been represented by people with the people's interest. A lot of people in the current council had an ideology which they were fulfilling. As you know, the dynamics of our council is very, very different. If you see the Brunswicks and all are with a high socioeconomic background. When you go towards the north of Moreland, we have Glenroy, which is adjacent to Dallas, and Broadmeadows, which has low socioeconomic background. So one size fits all solutions wouldn't work. And we got a lot of greeny kind of agendas. As we are all very well aware that we are in climate crisis, there's no one denying it. But at the same time, we can't have punitive measures taken on residents, especially in the current circumstances where people are really, really struggling and suffering. So I understand as a local long-term resident, been more than 2 decades, I've been in Moreland as a resident, also a father and a local small business owner. I really understand the aspects of the business, aspects of the needs of the local community. I think I have the best intentions for the community at the forefront of whatever I do. So hence I seek everyone to vote for me, and that qualifies me to be a councillor. And also some of the things I've seen, which a lot of candidates don't understand, is when you represent a council, it's not your decision where and what you want to do. Like, for example, in Moreland Council, we have 11 councillors. So anything that I put forward, I need to win the votes of other councils. We need to at least have the 6 people majority to formulate any of my motions into active policies. So I've got great communicational skills. So I'm quite confident that I can put things in the front and convince my fellow councillors to make into policies that work for our council. Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Praveen. Now I'd like to ask Deepti, what about you? Why do you think someone should vote for you compared to someone else? And lay out your qualifications as well for our viewers.
Sure, if not me, who else? No, I'm joking. All right. So, to begin with, I hold a degree in Masters in Business Administration. I've also completed my diploma in financial planning. Since I've been in Australia, I've always been a banker, worked for one of the top 4 banks. Then, a couple of years ago, I started my small business where I started consulting, for financial planning with my local community and advising them on financial structures. So my background has been in leadership positions. It has been as in consultation roles. It has been in stakeholder management and relationship management. So that's kind of, my professional experience in briefly. All right. Talking about community work, I have been doing a lot of community work, like I mentioned previously, for past many years, and it's all there to see and witness. I'm just not talking. I've walked the talk. I've done it in the past. So the main difference between me and my other contenders from my ward, I would say, is people have seen me work. And they did see me that I didn't wait for an opportunity to say, oh, if I do get elected, I'll do this. I've done things out of passion for serving the community. People still come to me. The local community members do come to me for, with concerns like family violence victims. They reach out to me because I've been advocating and supporting a lot of family violence victims from all backgrounds. Then I have been receiving a lot of requests, for groceries and for any kind of donations, which I have done. I've driven donation drives for bushfire victims, and again, I've done that. It's all there. It's all proof. I'm not just talking about it. So I've done a lot of grassroots level community work. I've already engaged with the community, and that's why I think I do hold a much better position to be be in the position of a councillor to represent the community. That's all it is all about. At the end of the day, a councillor's role is to be the voice and be the representative of your local community. Like I think Praveen mentioned in the beginning, the council, local government is the closest form of government with the local community. And that is whole thing, as a councillor, you don't get paid much. It's just, if you don't have the drive, the intent and the passion, you would not be a successful councillor, and you will not be giving a good representation. And that is the main thing. So I think I am a very solution driven person. I have done things without holding any official designations at any form of government structures, so if someone reaches out to me that, I want to go overseas, or I'm holding on a bridging visa, or I'm a student stuck here, I've done things for people. I've found solutions. I'm quite solution driven, and I do not get stuck with the problem. I'm quite, comfortable with networking and stakeholder management, like I said. So I have an established set of network. I am engaged and already engaged with a lot of local not-for-profit organizations. I'm a founder of one, actually 2, MACE and Mums Club, which has a lot of members. And we have done a lot of programs in the past, including workshops on employment rights with West Justice and, how to maintain life and work balance. So there have been a lot of activities and a lot of work that I've already invested in these many years. So people can see that, it's already been done. So as a councillor, it's going to be just, reaching out to more community members and doing it in a much more, I would say, a formal level. So that's what it's going to be. I'm also involved with Zonta Club of Melton, which deals with a lot of women concerns. And I'm also involved with Women Making It Happen. I was awarded by them for my work in the community service. So I'm very confident with all of that experience and work ethics that I have. I'm also compassionate, I'm passionate, and I'm driven. I'm absolutely community driven. So this is one thing that I'm not sure I can vouch for other candidates. But again, respect to all, and I wish everyone good luck. But at the same time, how do I stand out? I think it's all there to see for people, it's all there. So they can visit my website, visit my Facebook page if they haven't already heard of me. So
right.
yeah,
Thank
vote
you very much, Deepti.
Thank you.
So I'll turn to you now, Ajay. What about you? Why do you think you're the best person suited to this job?
Yes, just basically, see, as you mentioned, it's a qualification experience counts always to serve the committee. What I think there are a few things I'd like to tell you about today. It's I'm a graduate in project management. So it just means there's a lot of things I've learned through project management to build the confidence. So the main points, what I've learned is anything you do, run an organization or profit making, non-profit making, or as a counselor or the political leader, the main three constraints, what I believe is accountability, responsibility, and transparency, which I've learned from my education. I started implementing that. Through that, I've started Australian Multicultural Association in 2015. And it's been very successful. And it's involved people, local people, to create jobs. And through my events, like I do events like 10 events almost in a year. This is to bring the safety along with the council. This creates a job of up to $200,000 per year since last year's, which generating local jobs. So this is what my education and my knowledge and my network has bring. And the outmost thing is you should have a good intention, what I believe, intention to serve the people and passion towards building the network in the community, which I have. These are the two main things, like passion, intention, and belief is the three things which are driving me to the community service, And apart my skills and my knowledge, which gave me, I've served the arts into the women empowerment. I did some projects for Indian Arts Academy. I've run here in Colorist Springs. I do the women empowerment project and international student service and migrant services. This goes on. Australian Multicultural Association has got Best Volunteer of the Year 2020 for our services. We do like 2,000 hours per year as a volunteer we spend. So, and my education and my qualification, what I thought is through this, I have come to us with my study here in Melton Council. What I found, the councillors, which I did a survey recently, so about 300 participants have involved. So local people doesn't know who the councillors are. Most of them, like more than 30% people, and they don't have reach to the local council. And council wants to, there are facilities which need to send, to the local people. So what I found is there's a gap between council and the people and the local business. So I'm developing an app. So in that through means is I'm available to my local people 24/7. So this is a revolutionary thing, what I can see as a political leader or maybe a councillor who is available to local residents 24/7. So through app. So this already has started development, which will be launched by Christmas for beta testing with the people. So we can start using, and this is dramatically, it connects the local councillor or maybe an MP, anybody to the local residents, and also promote the local businesses. So there are like my other experiences, which I connect to the people. I run a small business. I'm an IT guy since last 20 years. I work for federal and state government and private organizations, which I learn technology. Through technology, we can, make betterment of the future. So I have other things like landscaping business and other business also. I've connected to the people and understand the migrants issues. So there are so many things to discuss, but through all this, my experience and my qualification, I would be a better fit to serve the community.
All right, thank you very much, Ajay. So I'd like to turn my attention to Preet, you. What about you? Why do you think you're best man suited to this job? And what are your qualifications, if you want to lay them out?
Look, my vision is very clear. Like I seek to bring liberal values with a local focus. Community service is an important aspect of the role. However, like it becomes absolutely important to choose the right competent people with diverse skills and knowledge as well. someone having a knowledge to review complex documents, those financial documents, when they are presented in the council, it adds to that, because when you're making those important decisions, so you can back up with that, like with your skills, and you deliver the best outcomes for the community.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, look, I've been running an open ticket. Look, I'm not made any teams with anyone as such. So the community decides who the best 4 councillors would be from this ward. There's no malintention of like filtering votes or anything as such, because I don't believe the candidate should be telling the people who the best 4 people are. So the community of Wyndham decides. Look, most of the agendas and the issues are going to be common. As I said, look, you need to have the right intent, desire, knowledge, skills. I've done masters in accounting, as I said before. I can review those complex documents. I've been in the leadership role. I can lead from the front, try and unite the council, and make those good decisions. Be together, because the role of the council is a little different to the state or Fed, where they would be an opposition party. But councillors, regardless of their affiliations, they have to work together for the community. And that's the prime motive, like to serve the community well.
Okay, thank you very much, Preet, for that. So now I'd like to turn my attention to Suren. What about you? Personally, in your opinion, why do you think you're best suited to this job, and why do you think you're qualified for this? Or maybe lay out your qualifications for us as well.
Thank you, Sach. So I like to start off with, again, rephrase. I have done a master's degree in accounting and financial management from La Trobe University. It was back in 2006. And after that, I've worked in financial sector for many years. Now, I started my small business. Basically, for last 6 years, I've been running it successfully. I've always lived around Kingston and understood the community needs and what needed to be done. Now, when you elect me as your councillor, because it's a single member ward now, when you elect Surender as your councillor, Karkarook ward residents, you not only get a councillor who is going to be visible, listens to, and approachable. You also get a highly qualified candidate who is different from the other candidates. I live in Karkarook ward, not like some of the candidates out of 12 candidates in our ward. They don't even live in our ward, and they're still seeking election in Karkarook ward, not understandably why. But let's not get into so much of details, basically. Now, my experience and knowledge will come into handy, as the other candidates mentioned, when we are dealing with large amount of projects, basically, and it comes down to scrutinization, the complex documentation. A guy with a master's degree who's fully qualified and with many years of work experience working in financial sector, I guess it can come in handy.
Okay, thank you, Suren.
And
thank you for that.
Sorry. And for more information, if you like, please visit my Facebook page, which is Surender for Karkarook. You will find a lot of information there. I've made some beautiful videos for you to watch and give you a little bit of insightful of my campaign.
Okay, certainly. So thank you, Suren, once again. So finally, to finish it off, Rohit, I'm going to you now. So why, again, I think you heard the question, but I'll reiterate. Why do you think you're the man for the job, to simply put it out? And why do you think, what qualifications, do you think your qualifications will better suit that job that you're trying to accomplish as well?
I will say this question in 2 parts. First of all, I would like to say I am the most qualified candidate among all the 38 candidates standing in Harrison Ward. Starting my year 10, I went to Junior Cambridge, ICSE from Patna, Bihar. And then I did my Bachelor's of Business Management from Bangalore University. After that, I did Masters of Information Technology from RMIT University. And then I worked for about 10 years in large corporation as an IT manager. And then I went to United States in Boston. I went to Harvard Business School and I did my entrepreneurship, business transformation and innovation course. I also went to MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and I did my startup clinic. Now, You see that company in the background, Idea to Network, that started in Harvard Business School. I formed a team of 10 people at Harvard Business School, and I was the CEO of a company. So I started that company in Harvard Business School, and since then I have been progressing with that. So I've been in a leadership role. I've been leading the community from front. I've led at Harvard Business School, and I can lead in Wyndham Council. So they don't have a choice. I am the best candidate out there, out of 38 candidates. I've reviewed all of them. Most of them has been property dealers, like less qualified with a lot of money. And I don't want to put allegation, but I've heard a lot of stories about things that I don't want to bring it here in the live. But I think the Wyndham Council people are smart enough and they are educated enough to vote for the right person. So I'm the best candidate from Harrison Ward.
Thank you very much, Rohit. So guys, that concludes 3 rounds of questions. Thank you very much for your precious time, and I wish you all the very best in the upcoming elections. Hope you all be able to get into the respected councils that you are contesting for. The viewers would have a broader understanding. I know it's a limited amount of time that we had. We didn't want to drag it too much, but I think we got a clear understanding where you're at and what you're willing to do to the community. So thank you again, guys. Wish you all the very best from Melbourne One TV. So I'd like to again conclude with the names. So we had today Praveen Kumar for Moreland City Council. We have Deepti Alurkar for Melton City Council. I also had Ajay Pasupulate for Melton City Council. We have Preet Singh for Wyndham City Council. We have Surender for City of Kingston. And finally, we had Rohit Singh for Wyndham City Council. So once again, guys, thank you very much for your precious time, and we wish you all the very best in the upcoming elections.
Thank you
so much.
And thank you everyone for your participation.
Thank
you, Melbourne One TV and the crew. You know, it was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
all
you.
the best, everyone.
Like to sign off.
Sorry, before you cut off.
Also, nice meeting you all. All the best to you.
Thank you all.
Good luck, all guys.
All the
best. Enjoy your camping.
And I'd like to sign off from Melbourne One TV with the Talk with One segment, and we'll definitely be back with another video. Thank you.